I want to do it so badly, but it's so stupid. There's no reason why I should do it. Prove yourself. Crit. Me. I mean, no, that's not.
In the somewhat controversial Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, the only piece of Fire Emblem news we got was that the Switch 2's version of the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack will be featuring additional classic games from the Nintendo GameCube in a brand new exclusive catalog, the modern version of a GameCube Virtual Console in essence. With this, we were shown that Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Ike's debut game and a beloved classic, will be included within the library of games. This is exciting for a few key reasons, but I think many fans are also overlooking some crucial details as to the drawbacks and actual availability of this version of the game. And so alongside the good of this announcement, I want to touch on why this, unfortunately, still isn't amazing news. For the plus column, many fans have had considerable trouble in recent years when trying to get their hands on an original copy of Path of Radiance for the GameCube. It's considered to be one of the more expensive and rarer GameCube titles in the console's library, and its price varies among online resellers, with an average price hovering somewhere around the $200 range in the US. For a game that originally costed around $50, that's quite the jump as copies become more sought after and harder to find over time. Its newfound availability on the Switch 2 will allow players to legitimately play the game on modern hardware for the first time, and now take Ike's story with them on the go for the first time as well, courtesy of the Switch's hybrid handheld functionality, and that certainly is a pro of this version. I mean, imagine sitting on the toilet when the Black Knight appears. With the likely widespread user base of the Switch 2, this will also be a great way to introduce many newer fans to Ike's origins and give them an opportunity to experience the game for the first time ever, and that's definitely a great thing. Unfortunately though, that's sort of where the pros column ends, and there's definitely going to be some cons with this version as well. Firstly, in order to even access the GameCube library on Switch 2, you'll have to purchase the Nintendo Switch Online service, and then the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion. In total, this costs around $50 a year, which would definitely start to add up as a long-term subscriber. In fact, in just a couple of years, the price of Switch Online Plus would reach the approximate value of the original GameCube version of the game. Sure, you get access to much more than just Path of Radiance with this subscription, so it's definitely worth the price if you take advantage of what will be offered, but it's also worth noting that in the Direct, they specifically stated that this version of the Switch Online Plus expansion pack is only available for the Switch 2. Meaning that the original Switch is not going to be getting GameCube games with its version of Switch Online Plus. It makes sense, this is a new feature for a new console. However, that also means that the initial price tag in order to access this software is at minimum around $500 US. Suddenly, that $200 for the original is starting to look a lot fairer. And sure, a lot of fans will probably pick up a Switch 2 eventually, and you can justify the heftier console price if there's many other new games that you'll be getting as the years go by. That is, assuming that the console lasts for around a decade like the original Switch 1. And I'm sure you can justify that price tag if you're buying the Switch 2 for a lot more than just Path of Radiance. But this is a pretty steep entrance fee in order to access Path of Radiance. There is also currently no word on if the data transfer feature from the original game will work in this version, and odds are it won't. In the original, upon beating the game and saving a clear data file, that save data could be transferred from Path of Radiance to its sequel, Radiant Dawn, and provide additional benefits in that game. This included additional stat bonuses on an individual basis for characters who capped their stats, weapon EXP bonuses for them, unlocked supports that became viewable in a library, as well as the transfer of coins, the kind used for forging weapons. While this isn't the end of the world and should be considered just an additional bonus feature, if there should ever be a Wii game library added to Nintendo consoles in the future that would feature Radiant Dawn, it is unlikely that this data transfer feature will still function to allow connectivity between the games. It's also worth noting that because these apps are essentially emulating the original games, they're not perfect and may even have crashes. Due to how these emulators inherently work, they only save your progress when you correctly exit the app. meaning that any unforeseeable crashes or freezes that you experience may cause you to lose your progress, or worse, your save files entirely, as some users have unfortunately shared. They do not have the original console's ability to save to a game's battery save file, meaning that no matter how many times you save the game within the emulator itself, if it crashes, your progress will be lost. It will just never be as reliable as playing on the original hardware. The other thing I want to highlight about this version of the game is that while the Nintendo Online service offers cloud backups for your save files, there is fine print specifically stating that Nintendo has the right to delete your save files after your subscription has lapsed for a period of time, specifically 6 months. They don't even give you the option of a full year off. So, if you decide to stop paying for this service sometime later on down the road, they will eventually delete your saves, and you won't even have a year to come back to get them. Originally, I would have given them the benefit of the doubt and just thought that they were granting themselves the legal option to do so, and that wouldn't necessarily mean that they would. But unfortunately, there's already evidence out there of Nintendo sending out emails warning users of their data being deleted, and many other users with their data already gone, meaning that it is, in fact, happening. And this is an active tool that they are using to lure players into continuously subscribing so as to not lose their data. Pretty anti-consumer and scummy. So basically, if you're going to play the game this way, you better be prepared to lose your save file eventually. All that hard work, all those amazing memories will one day be lost. Playing Path of Radiance, or any other game on these library services for that matter, is just not a great long-term investment in terms of owning and keeping the playthroughs that you'll be dumping countless hours into. Your maxed out characters and impressive endgame teams have a time limit. They won't be there forever. Plus, even if you did keep your subscription active and keep paying, someday when the Switch Online service as a whole eventually gets shut down, you know, when the Switch has seen its day and we're on to the next great big console, once again, you'll lose access to being able to play or revisit your save files of this version of the game, as you need an active online subscription to even open the game libraries on your console. So, although many fans rejoiced at this announcement, and I do think it is a good thing, and I don't want to kill anyone's hype for the newfound attention that Path of Radiance will once again be getting, this is still not a perfect solution to play the game, and has several caveats that I hope that fans understand when enjoying it in this way. I also find it rather humorous to imagine that the approximate price tag of this version is indeed $500+, and thus ultimately is still a much worse deal compared to the price of the expensive GameCube original. But what do you think? Let me know, get subscribed, and thank you to my YouTube members and patrons. Also, I've been streaming Path of Radiance occasionally on Wednesdays, so if you want to check out these streams, be sure to do so. You can check out the VODs here, or catch me live Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. EST.